Let's see. How about this one? There. Okay. No, that's not what we want. All right. I've been looking at some stuff on Facebook here, and I tell you, it's giving me a migraine here. Um, Honestly, a lot of people don't know much about coins, but they're trying to offer up the best information they can. Uh, it's tough out there, man. Oh, let's see. Where's this group we're looking at right now? Here's the screen. Okay, collectible pennies and penny errors. Buy, sell, trade, and auction is the group. It's got a couple thousand members in here. Okay, we got some stuff to see. I tell you that. Um, God only knows what you find in these groups. It's a little bit of everything. There are lots of people out there trying to find out what they have. Okay, what do we got here? Jeffrey, he says on my this is my first post. Well, that's good. You're stepping out, you're getting into new realms, and he's starting to post. And of course, I'm not exactly sure what to think yet, so I'm asking for some expertise floating around this group. That's good. That's a rare thing right there in this group. Either way, just let me down easy. Oh, okay. Here's what we got. We got this here coin. Looking at it, um, what do you got here? Let's open in a new window because we're getting these things popping up in our way. That's just an awful photo. It's tough. Okay, it looks like the shadow line is suggesting that this secondary bit, this kind of a covering, this different color is raised above the rest of the coin. Okay, a pretty heavy shadow line, and it seems to fracture down here. Right, definitely covers part of the rim, but not all of the rim. Right, the rim is delineated in most places. It tends to blur some of the details underneath. Right, I got pretty clear in God we try, in God we, but trust gets blurred. What do you suppose is going on here? We can't quite make out the date. Well, not in this photo anyway. That's a bit tough. He's got a couple other photos trying to take a look. What you got here? You got crud in your coin. How do you let a guy know what he has without butt hurting them? All right. Well, I did the best I could, really. So I responded, where to go? Okay, if I let you down easy, it's a wonderful penny, well suited for any collection. I'm glad you found it. It makes me feel warm inside to know you're a part of this wonderful world doing something great. Well, that doesn't really tell him what the issue is. So I add the truth. The thing has doo-doo on it. Without the doo-doo, it's still damaged, well circulated, and worth what's written on the back. Um, how do you not butt hurt people? This is a challenge, isn't it? Honestly, everybody thinks they have a wonderful coin, and they hope to have a wonderful coin. They're looking for those life-changing coins. They want that $1 million coin in their pocket change. Honestly, I was reading a poll about this millennium generation. All the kids, and their best plan of putting together, a sizable life savings is winning the lottery. Okay, look, I've been playing the lottery for years and years. I won nothing. I think the most I ever won is 28 bucks. Then my buddy comes in right behind me, right? I buy my ticket, he buys his. I scratch mine off, 28 bucks. He scratches his off, 56 bucks. The hell? All right. Look, you can make money in the hobby, right? You can buy coins, you can sell coins, you can make a few bucks here and there. If you're good at it, if you stick with it for a long time, develop a clientele, right? Put in the long hours, searching rolls and rolls and rolls and bags and sacks and boxes and just piles of coins. Yeah, you can find some neat things that are probably worth more than what you paid. All right, there, I can put this back now. But finding those super duper $1 million coins, um, no, it's probably not going to happen for you, right? You probably have a better chance of winning the darn lottery. Okay, I want to get these out here because there was another question on another group somewhere on there. I don't know where it was or where it went. Okay, that's a lot of glare. There's a button somewhere I can press. It'll take away that glare, but I don't know where it is or how to work it. There, I'll get a card here, and I can probably, yeah, blinded. Still not in focus. It will never focus. Somewhere in the world is a point at which this focuses, but it's not in this room. Gosh darn it. Okay. You can find coins, and a lot of times they're worth a few dollars, right? Go through a box of pennies up at the bank, and you go through it and you pick out the wheat pennies, maybe the foreign pennies, and they'll be worth a few cents. A lot of times they don't make Canadians anymore. Right? They don't make Bahamas pennies anymore. And you can find one of those in circulation here and there, and they go for, you know, $1.50 a roll. Well, if you take your time and save them up, you know, get some tubes and store them up, yeah, you can make a few dollars here and there. It's not a problem. If you have a good idea of how to grade coins, you can go on, say, these Facebook groups or eBay, and you can find coins that have been undergraded and are therefore undervalued, and you pick them up, usually for a better price, and, well, sell them off, flip it, right? Buy it, flip it. Send in a painter, get some landscaping done, flip it, just like a property. That's what I do a lot of times. It's working pretty well. You need to do more of it for sure. All right, and if you have a good idea, good head on your shoulders, you've been, you know, studying and reading and checking, and you have a solid understanding of what you're looking at. Yeah, you can make a decent income, no problem at all. But if you're hoping that some junky old thing that you found in your pocket change is, you know, that $1,000,000 coin, you're going to be disappointed. All right, there's a chat here. I've screwed up my screen. Let me click a few more things here. There we go. Oh, look at all the people here that showed up. We got Cindelicious, there's my buddy, Dave Carlisle, Coin Dragon, Jeff Stanley. Hi, Ken. Thank God you're here. Work was getting boring. Sorry, this is my work. This is what I do all day. I spent some time looking at pennies. I've been working on a graphing out, but I made a mess of it, and it was on the back of the envelope anyway. No, here, I need a piece of paper. There's never enough paper around here. Come out. Da-da-da. Okay. So today I'm working on several projects. One is a lecture on evidence-based numismatics, because there was one lady who says it looks like God struck that coin by lightning. I don't think God had anything to do with the pennies. Okay. There's no mysticism. There's no magic in these things. I see people offer ideas that maybe they use a different L on that penny. They're not typeset. We go through and try to explain how these hubs and how these dies are produced, and the bad information is getting out far faster than I can possibly keep up with. I can tell you that for sure. All right, so I've been working on a graph, and I think I need some logarithmic paper, because I'm using the price of VF for coins, right? And I'm using price over here, and over here I'm using surviving population. So a higher population over here and price up there, and it's all over the place. It's everywhere. Two centers have a low surviving population and a low price, right? Meanwhile, there's some wheat pennies that have a higher population and a fantastic price. They're way up here. It's not making sense. Part of it has to do with collectability and how many people are interested in a particular series. But I'm working on this. I'm expecting that as population increases, price would come down. I'm expecting a curve not unlike this, but I'm going to need a whole lot more data points. And then you can say, aha, this is way below the curve, and this is way above the curve. This is probably not a great price. And this is probably a winner. Uh-huh. That's what I'm working on for projects over here today. But I thought I'd get on and just cruise a Facebook group because I haven't done that in a while. Okay, let's see. What the Frank? Hello, Ken and everyone else, says Jason Padden. I'm like 20 minutes behind. Curse of the Doo-Doo. Really, most of your coins are going to be damaged. I go through these groups and I look at coins, and one after another, after another, after another, it's damage, right? Most of them. We're not talking 99 of 100. We're talking most of them are damaged. Uh, how much longer can I spend time looking at damaged coins and saying, damage, 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 damage? We got to teach people what the hell's going on with these things so they can get out there and find them and pick them out and determine, aha, this is not damage. They can figure it out for themselves. That's what we need, is a more informed collector base. I'm doing my best. Jeff Stanley says instant gratification. Yeah, really long-term stability is better than instantaneous gratification. You'll find that, I hope, one day, but if you don't focus on it soon, you're going to have nothing. Oh, what happened there? I scrolled down a little bit and the chat went zip. So I missed a whole lot of messages over here. Found a nice RPM on a 59D just now from a roll. Yeah, you can find those. People look at those mint marks. What's here on my desk here? That's a 1989. Okay. There's an 89. Let's see. Here's some 61Ds. I wonder if I've gone through these. It's on the left side, so probably not. Okay. You can get these BU rolls for like $1, right? This one's a 61D. I think I got that for like $1, maybe $1.20. I see them bidding these things up to 20, 30, 40 bucks. What? It's $1. If they're no good, I send them back to the bank. I eat the 50 cents loss. Okay. Frank is talking about RPMs. See that? You get a little mint mark right there. You can't see that. Let me slide it over to here. Here's my wedge from last night's show. See that? I don't have to touch them with my fingers because, come on, I've been scratching myself all day with these fingers. They're nasty, man. Where's this go? There. Okay, here you can see clearly. Wait a minute. There's a mint mark. Isn't that neat? Okay. And what you're probably looking for on these 60s, you're looking for little notches. Little notches, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky. Yeah, he's lost it. He's lost his mind. You look for little notches or little horns sticking out the front. 1962 is a great one for little pieces sticking out the front. Where's my Play-Doh? Huh. I got to clean up this desk. Let me show you what we're talking about for little notches. Because I can't art, but apparently I'm pretty good with the back of a cocktail napkin. So here we have a cocktail napkin. Let's get over here. You ready? Home. You get a mint mark. Here it is. It's a D. Okay, we'll draw another D inside. And we got the back side. We got the little serifs. Serif. The little points. There they are. All right. They punch these into the die. There's a die. The die has been hubbed. They take the impression from the hub and drive it into the die. The hub looks just like a coin. I don't know what this is. That's what the hub looks like. It's raised up, looks exactly like a coin. So the die is like a photo negative. It is depressed where the hub is raised. And they sink it in. Sometimes they do it repeatedly. Sometimes they do it and there's a shift. Now you have a doubled die. All right. Then they take this tool, and it's not unlike a a stubby pen, and the tip of that is going to be like this big, seriously. And they're going to drive that die. They're going to drive that mint mark. They're going to punch it in by hand. They did this up until up through 1989. They punched it in just like that. They set it in place where it needs to go. Now the die is going to make the coin, so it's going to be in the opposite side. So if it's on the coin over here, the die is going to look backwards. I'll punch my die in over there. True story. Let's get the ink off of there. I use these for teaching. That's why don't touch your fingers to the coins because you got crud all over them. There we go. And now it's a clean finger. All right. So sometimes I drive that die in. I make that little mark, and maybe the guy sneezes, or he had a bad night, up at Sully's bar the night before, and it's not quite where it wants to be, so we'll punch it in again. Or maybe he didn't punch it hard enough. So he's already left some of an impression in the die, but he's going to repunch it, right? He says, no, that's not even good enough for government work. I'm going to redo it. So he punches it in again. What that's going to leave on the die is a second impression. You're going to have two impressions. Now, if the first one wasn't good enough, that second one, that'll be much stronger. So the first one is, that's the weak strike. And sometimes, let's say, it didn't line up exactly, right? So if I take this D, and let's say I draw another one, I'm going to have something like this, where I'll have bits of that mint mark showing outside the regular mint mark, huh? Now, this second strike is going to obliterate much of the first one, but sometimes you see the little points, the little pieces. If it's really, really close, right? He got the D lined up real close. Sometimes all you're going to see is just a little split right here. That's all you're going to see on a lot of them. Sometimes it's a little extra metal, up here. Right? Sometimes you see these horns where it's part of the D is kind of showing up. Let's say I took these parts of the D, right? And let's say I tilted it back the first time I punched it, so it's going to be really weak right here. All I'm going to see on the regular mint mark are little horns. Little horns. 62 has a bunch of these, just little points sticking out. And that's all you see on the repunch mint mark. And you can find those, right? And they're good for $3, $4, $5. What? That's it? $5? Yeah. On something like this, maybe $5. Some repunch mint marks get a little more because there's something else going on, or they're well known, or extreme. And by extreme, the guy did his punch, his initial punch, and it wasn't strong enough, so he's got a mint mark over here. All right, there's your serifs, and you put a regular one in correctly, but it's like a mile away. Sometimes you get them where there's a vast difference in space between them. How stoned was this guy when he came into work that day? How hungover do you have to be to screw it up that bad and not say, hey, boss, I frigged up a die? Yeah, he's not going to say nothing to nobody because he's protecting his job. But sometimes you get these mint marks that are tremendously separated. 1952 has one. Where's that picture I had? There you go. Where there's a mint mark way down here. 1956 has one where it's over here, right? 1960 has a bunch of them that are above the regular. I mean, just vastly separated. Most of them are just a little bit off. Sometimes you have say an S, for example, right? Well, let's see if I can draw an S. Something like that. All right, there, and you get a secondary mint mark, and it shows as something like, say, this. So you have some doubling of the mint mark up here. Maybe you have a little more down here. Not much at all, but it's enough to see. These are kind of neat. They're out there. Sometimes you get D's over S's. It's an over mint mark. That's where the punch, let's start over. That's where the die was produced in Philly, sent to San Francisco. San Francisco put their mint mark in it. And Denver calls up, says, hey, man, you got any extra dies we can borrow? And you need a cup of sugar at the same time. So San Francisco, they say, yeah, we got some extra dies because, we take care of our shit. All right, so they send them over to Denver. And then Denver stamps their die into it. their mint mark into it, and you get these weird things. Yeah, these are beautiful. It's called an over mint mark. And that's how that happens. There's S over D, there's D over S, there's O over CC. Really, they were borrowing cups of sugar from each other way back in the 70s, the 1870s, 1910s, way back in the day. That's all about. Hmm. Well, it takes a while to get one's head wrapped around all this stuff. So I understand that there's a lot of people that don't really have a great head on their shoulders about all this. And when you get into varieties, right, errors, repunched mint marks, uh, it's a little tougher, really. And you have to go with evidence-based numismatics to explain best what it is, what the heck that thing is that's going on with this coin. And for that, really, a reference set comes in handy. But it's not magic, right? It's not God. It's not elves, right? There's a reason that that coin looks the way it does. And if you can explain how it looks that way using the mint process, then most likely you have damage on your hands. Okay, there. I was talking about Frank, his RPM. He got one. Yeah, you can do that. And they're good for a couple of bucks, right? Something like this, it costs you, you know, a buck for a roll. And you go through that roll, you find several repunched mint marks. Geez, that's like making what, 30, 40 bucks? That's good money. And yeah, you got to really study this stuff. Let's see if we can see. Does that have a mint mark? Where'd those 61Ds go? Let's see. Scope. There. Okay. So we got to look at these things, and you look real close. And it's tough. You get to a point you need a pretty high-powered loop. Now, 10x is the standard, right there, for discovering the darn things. You can get more powerful loops or these little microscopes, right, like we got here. We show off coins and pictures. And it'll give you greater detail, but oftentimes the higher magnification is used to verify your find rather than to find it in the first place. It's used to look up die markers. Where's this penny? Here you go. There's a 1963D. And when you get into the higher power magnification, that's when you're looking for such things as, let's see, let me look around here. Let's see if we can find a die marker. What's that do to? There's an example, if I can tilt that just right there, of a die marker. That's a little, probably a polishing line left on the die, this bit right here. Hold still, Ken. I'm trying. Really, I am. And this is used to positively identify what you just found. You say, aha, I have an RPM, right? And it has this die marker. And we know the position of the mint mark. We know where the extra bit of metal is on the RPM. And you can identify it and assign it an attribution number looking at these sites that are out there. Is Wexler, copper coins. Let's see, Variety Vista. There's the SAN database is coming. Bear with us. It's a big project. But there's more to it than just looking at the picture and saying, what is it? What's it worth? And where's the machine I put it into to get my money? Because honestly, if you want to make money doing this, you're not going to do it just, I found a penny, I need to sell it. You need to get deeper into the hobby and establish a customer base, establish a rapport with these customers, right? So you can show your stuff off, present to the world that you know what the hell you're talking about, and then you'll probably draw better prices than just saying, I got a bunch of pennies, here you go. I need $500 for it. You see anything on this that's jumping out? No, this is a pretty normal penny. But a dealer is going to get a whole lot more money from it than you will, because he has taken the 10 years and invested the time and effort and hair pulling into establishing a reputation. and building that client base, that customer base, so that people come to him and say, what do you got this week? And he says, look, I got this here RPM. It's $5. Really? Which RPM is it? Oh, it's Wexler RPM number 5. You can identify these things. You got to move deeper into the hobby is what we got to do. We got to get more people drawn into the facts, into the data, into the evidence that tells them what the coin is so they can identify it properly. Now, Facebook gives us this great opportunity to get out there and tell people what we think of their coin. It really does. Imagine you were on the Q&A panel and they threw up some photos in front of you and you had to figure out what is going on with that coin. It's going to be real hard. But, you know, when you figure one thing out, you'd be able to identify that again and again and again. And then you figure out what another error is or another type of doubled die, maybe a class 5 or a class 1, and be able to explain to somebody intelligently what's going on with their coin. But it takes time to learn all this stuff. Let me continue with fart. Good job. I'm continuing with a chat over here. Start over. I missed the beginning. Where to go? That's not it. Oh, I got a pet peeve for you. I drew a pet peeve. Let me see if I got a picture of it here somewhere. There. It always helps if you sound right. I gotta find this. There's the screen. Okay. It helps if you sound right when you explain or talk about coins. Is it a die or is it die? There's a big difference in this one letter going back and forth here. A dye, D-Y-E, is a coloring for fabrics or textiles, whereas a D-I-E is what happens when your dog gets hit by a car or when you produce one of these metal things to make a coin. This is a die. Over here's a die. This is a specific hobby. It's really, really specific. There's a world of difference between D-I-E and D-Y-E. And if you want to talk about an RPM, you have to be specific. Which RPM, which is where these attributors come into play. Let me take you over here to, how about Wexler? Here he is. This is John Wexler's website. Let me see if you can see what I can see. Here's the screen. Yep. Okay, good. Let me shrink this down. This is what I got to look at. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay, John Wexler. We come down here. We get some RPM listings, and I'm going to look at memorial cents right here. Let's look at 1960. Not a whole lot of memorial cents listed with RPMs. Okay, let's look at 1959D. Frank had just found one of these. He'll tell us which one in a bit. And you can take a look at these things, and yeah, you'll be able to identify this with a magnifying glass. But to get in deeper and identify it correctly as WRPM 001, then you want to start looking at die markers. And he's going to have them listed, right? Reverse stage B, they get die chips and the columns are stronger than on stage A. You get an additional die crack, shows on most of the left side of the building. Okay, and look, you got cross references. Here's Konica RPM number 1. Let's pull up Konica's website. Let's see, here's Variety Vista. Yaha, RPMs from 1959. Here's RPMs. They also have OMMs, the overmint marks. And we're looking at 1959. Let me kill this. So Wexler number 1 is cross-referenced as Konica number 1. And a lot of times they will line up as the way this works. Wexler used to be part of the team over at Konica, and he went his own direction. But he kept the numbering system, or Konica started over and kept the same numbering system. I'm not exactly sure how it works. Copper coins, that's Chuck Daughtry. He's been doing this for 20 years anyway. He found his listings and matched them up with what Konica and Wexler had. So those numbers a lot of times are going to line up. Okay, here we go. So we got this one. This mint mark right here is WRPM number one. Over on Konica, it's RPM number one. But you see what I'm talking about right here? These uh, little points sticking out, these little horns. That's what we're talking about. This is extra metal. And sometimes you get just a little horn sticking out. That's a great one to look for. And the die markers, for that you gotta get in deeper to see and identify them. Die chip on column 1 and 2. Can you even see this in this photograph? This is real tough. You got a bigger one on this side. Yep. Let's see if we can see that one because that might be going off the screen. Oh wow! Look, I'm all over the place. There. That might be easier to see now. So there's your horns, right? There's cracks, chips. You got some substantial chips over here in the corners. That's the same darn thing. And as the die is still used and reused, you know, to produce 50,000 coins or 100,000 coins or 250,000 coins, that die is going to wear out. So you can look at this mint mark and it'll change over time, right? That horn at the top is not as sharp in a later stage as it is in an early stage. Huh. Does that make a difference in value? Yeah, a lot of times people want the sharp one. Now we can look at the values on these things. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the values shown on the Konica website. But shiny, screaming blue, screaming red, they're saying 10, 15, 20, 50 bucks, maybe. I don't often see repunch mint marks going for more than 10, 15, 20 bucks, but this is a pretty substantial one. It's also FS501, which is 5S Stanton, listing number 501, which is a repunch mint mark, and 5S Stanton, or FIVA Stanton, is a cherry picker's guide. Okay, well that kind of adds some value because they're listing what happened there. The cherry picker's guide has a bit more notoriety to it. And they list those that are more substantial, worth more. Tell you the truth, I like copper coins. Here's copper coins. Let's pull up the 1959. 1959. We'll go to D and look at the mint mark varieties. I think his prices that he has listed are a whole lot closer to reality. Let's pull that up. There, same darn thing. See, here's the die chips. And he'll have other listings that'll show different die stages. And you're going to have on the left side here, there you go, this is the copper coins. There you go, you got what he offers as values. And MS63, he's saying $5. For MS65, $7. These are probably a whole lot closer to reality than Variety Vista has. For the same darn coin. For 63, they're saying 40. For 65, Variety Vista says $75. That's a huge difference in value. Geez, is it a $7 coin or is it a $75 coin? Well, experience comes in as your guide at this point. Okay, where's the there's the stream, so I can try to catch up on chat here. Go back home. There, that's good enough. All right, so I'm still like the first 5 minutes of this chat. I'm gonna fast forward is what I'm gonna do. It's a weird looking puppy too. Your RPM? Lightning strike the like button. Oh, by all means. I am #1 unwanted. Quadruple die. Too much pressure, man. It's okay. We'll expect a picture of your 1959 RPM at some point. You don't have that one? I'm at work on lunch. Coin Dragon he's got it. He has an example of 1959D RPM number 10, and looking at his nomenclature. Okay, let's get over here. Home screen, right? There's the screen. All right, that's really big. Let's try to make that fit. Okay, he's got RPM number 10, which uses the nomenclature offered by Variety Vista, right? Wexler, that's WRPM. So if he's got a 10, that's going to be this one right here. Look at that. Little horns sticking out the bottom. Maybe a little connector. But he said stage C. Is that right? Stage C. Okay, right there. And for stage C, you look at some die polishing marks, some cracks, their location. Big die chip in the back of the column, another one on the side of the right cornice, and this big fat die crack over here. Yeah. At stage D, sometimes these die markers disappear because they can change out one of the dies. They change out the reverse die, for example. There you go. What do they say that's worth? Anywhere from $1 to $20 is what their price range goes. Let's pull up copper coins. Do a die variety search. 1959. I can't type. 59. Denver. And we're looking for an RPM. Search it. Now, chances are his 10 will be right in the same area. Okay, Konica 10, his 10. All right, there, same damn one. Let's look at it. What's the price that Copper Coins offers? We can see it. Okay, they range from $1 in fine to $6-7 in MS65. Well, there's a couple of bucks. You can find these RPMs left and right. You can just dip them up by the handful. Really, you might find 1 RPM in 10 boxes. You might find 10 RPMs in 1 box. It is hit or miss. Anything can happen day. There is no telling where they are or how often you're going to find them or which one you're going to find or if you're even going to find any at all. Aye, says Coin Dragon. I finally made it. Hi, JC Will. Okay, there we go. Now, I had a lady, where was that? She was asking about proofs. Is this coin a proof? Look how shiny it is. And I happen to have a 1958 brilliant uncirculated penny right over here. And I happen to have a proof 1958. So we can see the difference. And she had certainly a shiny piece. Let's see if we can get in here and have a look. Wow, this is going to be hard. Where's that block? I'm going to block out the sun on this. I'll get the door wide open. It's like 82 degrees out there. Okay. You can find proof coins in circulation. They are few and far between. Honestly, the reason proof coins end up in circulation is probably because there's something wrong with it. It took a scratch. It lost its value. It's an impaired proof, right? It was nice, and then it got screwed up, and they said, the hell with it, just spend it, because that's as much as you're going to get out of that coin. And you're going to see in the proofs, you get a different finish. Really, they're beautiful. Proof coins, I got them all over they're all over this desk, I tell you. Place is lousy with them. You have some differences between the proof strike and the circulation strike. The first thing you're going to see is the difference in the finish. Proofs are beautiful, right? They are mirror-like finishes. Let me put that on a card so we can put it under the scope. And let's look at that. Let's look at the difference in the finish. Okay, one's a mirror. There's the scope. Zoom out a little. And you can pick it out real quick. Now, when they make these proofs, they put extra attention and detail into every aspect of production. It's not just the shine, that beautiful mirror finish. Smooth like a baby's bottom. Now, I got a caveat here. I don't really go around feeling up babies' bottoms. Shot a pic over on Facebook. We'll go over there and check it out. What group's it in, Frank? Okay, here you got a business strike. And it's pretty good. right? Especially in the higher grades. Hasn't been passed around. I got one. Let's have a look at one that's been passed around. There we go. There we go. This one's been passed around. It's brown. It's filthy. It's got doo-doo on it. Got a potato chip stuck to it. It's got crud stuck in there. Got some wear in the chin. This one is brilliant. Okay, it's a shiner. There's no question. You've got all the original cartwheel luster on this, but this is not a proof strike. You get over here and you see the attention to detail that goes into these proofs. They are produced with specially prepared dies. Lately, they've I'll get you a sample over here. They've taken the time to laser etch all the devices. Give me just one moment. I got one over here. I swear it's here somewhere. This one's in a bag and it's in plastic. Because what that laser etching is going to do is give it a really, really cool finish. There we go. I'm going to zoom in real close. And it's almost looking like it's been pixelated. There we go. That's the modern proofs. You still have these beautiful, brilliant fields. This is in plastic right now. This one's encapsulated. What is it? Proof 69. This is a 2012. If I can find that. So those little scratches are on the surface of the plastic rather than on the coin. That lint, I think, is actually inside. Oh God, no, it moved. You had one job, Mr. Mint Guy, but there's the surface. And what happens when you look at it from, farther away than a millimeter, is it's going to have this beautiful cameo finish where you have this high contrast. Let's see if I can get the dust off of there. You have a high contrast finish, and they call it a cameo. Ta-da! Isn't that pretty? Now that's a coin, and you can see that's clearly different from a business strike. I've got great luster on there, and it's a great cartwheel, but here I've got a mirror-like finish. Let's see if we can see the up here. We got some blue lights on the side of that camera. You can see those. We can see them in the plastic. Let's see if we can see them bouncing off the proof. Well, first we got to get the darn thing to focus. At any point, feel free to focus. What is that? Oh, I'm looking through. Okay. Well, we're going to have, it's getting warmer, guys. There we go. That's now sharp. And there's the blue light right in front of his nose. That's the blue light on the camera. That's how reflective those surfaces are. You won't get that reflection off of a business strike. Now you might get it off on this one. It's not as cameo as that 2012, but you're still pretty darn glossy. I'm gonna have to put my thumb here so it doesn't slide. Yeah, you can see the reflection of it. You're not gonna see a reflection on the business strike, and you're not gonna see a darn thing on that circulated specimen. Okay, let me take you over here. I'm going to hold them by the edges. See? There. And we're going to look at the edges on these things. What makes a proof a proof? The way they strike it. It's not a grade. It's how the things are made. All right, there. Now, if I can hold that still, it'd be a miracle. I had a lot of coffee. Bear with me. Somewhere I've got a stick. There's some sticks. The business strike is over here on the right. And the business strike has a beveled edge. Look at that. It's beveled. Whereas a proof has a square edge. Really? Why does it have a square edge? It looks better. Now the bevels are made so you can pick the coin up off of a flat surface, right? Let me put these down for a bit. And the proofs tend to be a little thicker because they restrict it more. Watch this. I'll draw it right here. The square edge. That's a proof. Right? Over here I got a beveled edge. like a 45-degree angle on that edge. That's a business strike. That's a bevel. Isn't that great? You may have this sort of edge on your countertop or a table or your dresser or some woodwork in your home. Um, these points make it really tough to pick it up off of a flat surface, right? Here, I can get my fingernail under this. Look, I'm touching it. Touch, touch. Don't you hate that? All right. I can get my fingernail under that and pick it up easily. The proof is a whole lot tougher, and I don't suggest ever handling those with your bare hands. You can move those around with a piece of paper real easy. Let's see. And just, slide it around. But it's a whole lot tougher. This is a business strike, and I can probably pick that up. Ta-da! It's the way your fingers work, and you don't need much. That beveled edge makes it all possible. Canadian pennies, the old Canadian pennies do not have a beveled edge. Right, those old large cents with Queen Victoria and the dudes, you got her son and grandson, they have a square edge, and they're tough as hell to pick up off of a flat surface. So there's a way to tell the difference. You're going to have sharper strike, sharper design. Let's flip that over. Sometimes a little thicker. That finished surface, which is just elegant, and oftentimes those cameo details. So there are ways to tell the difference between a proof and a business strike. This is the evidence-based numismatics I'm talking about. Can it be a proof because it's really, really shiny? Stop it! It's not a proof. Somebody threw it on a rock tumbler. You can get that. You'll take the business strikes, clean them, polish them, get out the Brillo, buff them to a high sheen, and then say, hey, this must be a proof. No, you must be an idiot. I've had it with people, I tell you. All right. Well, we can't get that to, there's too much shine on this. Where'd that other card go? Ta-da! Yeah. Your first indicator is a mirror finish. Your second indicator, you're looking for cameo on the devices. Much like this. Third indicator, you start getting into the details on that strike. You start getting into the edges. It'll be square. And then finally get into the particular die markers that prove it. Let's see, where's the scope? Ta-da! There's a proof. Now, a lot of these proofs, when you go back 100 years, they made 1,000 of them. Right? Nowadays they're making, what, 1 million of these. In the 80s, they were doing 3-4 million of them. 1976, what'd they do? Like 111 million? That was a lot. But the rarity helps with these proofs, with identifying these, because when you only have 1,000 of them made, there are folks that have gone through and studied these proofs. Where's my toothpick? I can't see it. There's my toothpick. Who have studied these proofs and point out particular die markers, little fingerprints on the die that will tell you, yes, this is in fact a genuine proof coin. There's entire books just on the Lincoln cent proofs from 1909 to 1916. So you're looking at what? 7 dates? They get a whole book on it. Never too hot for coffee. You are so right. And Hector runs a little hot. After 8 a.m., what time is it in California? It's like noon or something. Coming up on it. I need a break from Bill J. Nobody needs a break from Bill J. Is he on right now? I hate to be streaming over Bill. There it is. So that's an older proof, 1958. And they made like 1 million of these. There we go. Oh, I had some more up here. What's that? No, that's a 70. That's a 74. I think I got more up here. What's that? 02? That looks like an 02 proof. There you go. Let me pull that one up. And how about this 57? Yep, just like test tubes. Here, you can do the same darn things looking at nickels. So you have a square edge on this nickel because it is a proof 2002 S. Whereas this one, doesn't seem to have that same shine. Doesn't have that square edge. It's got a beveled edge. If I can pick that. Stop sliding. Okay, I'm having trouble. There it is. There's the beveled edge. Okay, so this is not a proof scent. It's shiny. It's got the same darn design. But one of these is proof, and one is a business strike, and you can probably pick it out real quick, which is which. So we got a 2002 on the left with an S mint mark, which says it's a proof. And over here, 1957D. You know, before 64, there it goes. Before 1965, the proof cents, the proof coins were made at Philly. And after 1967, when they started making them again, they all have an S mint mark. Unless there's a couple of examples that don't. Okay, and when I can see there, it's got a D. Anytime you see a D, you know it's not a proof. 3 p.m. here, almost nap time. Is it? That's my favorite part of the day. Colonial hunting and currency collecting. Let's get over there. One moment, please. We're going to find Frank's penny here. Okay, coin roll hunting and currency collecting. There's Frank. Look at it. It's beautiful. Here's a screen. All right, let's kind of focus that. Get in the middle. What happened there? All right, now try again. Yep, there it is. Okay, there's Frank. That's him. Frank Blottle. I don't make this stuff up. He's got a 1959. Looks to be pretty good shape here. All right, let's have a look. That looks to be in real good shape. I'm looking for the wear on the highest points here. Not really seeing it. Yeah, that's better shape. And there's your mint mark. Look, we saw this. That's the little horn. That's the other little horn just sticking out. That's your number 10. And on the back, if we zoom in on that, we'll probably find those cracks and chips we were talking about. Well, I think the quality of this one is not really made for zooming in. But there may be a crack and a chip. It looks like something on this column, some lumps. Yeah, that's a good find. Yep. What do you say, $3 to $5? They're good for that. Huh. Well, if you were to collect all of those things, all the RPMs, how many would you have? Let's see. 59D. Konica says 22 different RPMs. Wexler, you ready for this one? RPM, 1952D, 1959D. How many's he got? Okay, there, we found it. What's this? There's another page. Oh, God, there's another page. 75 on the first page. Let's go more on this page. 59D. I'm not even close to the bottom here. Keep going. There, 1959D. He's got 144 RPMs listed. Seriously? 144? Copper Coins has more. Over the SAN database, this is a project I've been working on with Shay Hobmaster and CJ. Let's see. Let's look up memorial cents. 1959D right here. Okay, let's find the RPMs. Okay, 1959D starts here. DDOs, DDRs, RPMs. Now watch this. They go down and down and down and down and down and down and keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. How come we have 176 RPMs? 176. Wexler has 144. Konica has 22, and I haven't looked up Daughtry. You know, none of these listings are complete. We're drawing our sources from everywhere we can, but sometimes they overlap, right? Here you've got some that are listed by Konica, Wexler, and Copper Coins. Here's one that's listed by Konica and Copper Coins. Here's one listed by Wexler and Copper Coins. And you have some that are unique to only, say, Wexler. Or Copper Coins has a whole bunch. He's got some that nobody else has listed. And the trick is to go through and compare every single one of these to see if they are in fact distinctive and different and unique. And that is a challenge sometimes, let me tell you. But none of these listings are complete. It's what they have found, what they have listed on their sites, in their notes, and sorting it out it's wow. It's a major project, I can tell you. Some of them are so darn close. All we can do is make notes and list it. Okay, let's get back over to the stream there. Yeah, that's right. Okay. We're going to move this up. Look at the home. There. We got that showing again. Which way's up? Does this bother you when they have almost all their coins front, face up, and then they decide, let's screw with them and put our coins in backwards and upside down? Ah, stop it. They do it with state quarters, ATB quarters, some of them nickels, you know, with the buffalo in the back. It's tough. They all got to be friggin' different. Yeah. What's also needed is the various attributors, be it Wexler or Wiles or anybody, Crawford, Daughtry. They don't all use the same die markers too, so it might be really close, right? We can't quite tell, is this a different RPM? And we look at the die markers, and one guy is showing a crack from the reverse, another guy showing a little die gouge over by Liberty. It's enough to make you drink, you know. This is why we have jars of pills. You know, look at it's big. It's as big as my. It's bigger than my head if I hold it up here. That's why we have these giant jars of pills. None are correct. Actually, they're highly accurate. A lot of these attributors get right down and dirty, and you can identify your coin, but they're not necessarily showing the same markers as each other. But yeah, they pick it right out. You can identify your coin. So yeah, we got to find, you know, a specific example of RPM number 136 and compare that with all the listings and all the attributors, and then we can cross-reference it with a piece in hand. Yep. It's a chore. There's no end to it. Bill J. finding silver. Good for Bill. Yeah, Bill's a good guy. He's up in Chesapeake Bay area. Okay, well, I was promising to go down that group, so let's go back to there, and we'll tear that up. What was the name of that? Coin collecting? No, collectible pennies. All right, let's tear this up. What's the name of this? Here's the screen. Okay, collectible pennies and penny errors, buy, sell, trade, and auction. So here, let's say you can find some coins that are kind of neat, maybe some RPMs. Yeah, you can actually sell stuff in here. You got to talk to the people that run the group and say, hey man, I want to sell my crap here. Is that okay? And they say, yeah. Okay, what do we got here? Can someone tell me if they made a gold penny? No, they made no pennies out of anything but copper, tin, zinc, and then they made them with steel and zinc. They made them with copper and zinc without the tin. They made them with a zinc core with copper plated to it, but they never made any gold pennies. Gold penny. Okay. You know, if your penny is worth 150 bucks, it's worth its weight in gold. Did somebody paint this one? What's going on with your coin here? No, this looks like an environmental issue. Probably some contaminant. Sulfur is a big one for turning a coin yeller. And this one over here, you've got a lot of, well, a lot of tarnishing, a lot of toning going on. Copper is a reactive metal. Depending on what you, that's not it, on what you touch it with. Is it the sweat of your hands with its salt and organic compounds in there? Because that'll change it one color. Or maybe you're hitting it with red wine vinegar. That'll give it a different color, believe it or not. But sulfur will impart more of a golden color. This particular piece looks like it's pretty good shape. That's a VDB, all right. Was it plated? This looks like it's a pretty good shape. I don't think it's been plated. I think it's just been discolored. Plated or painted? Plated. Do you think it's been plated? I got some sort of luster over here. This is kind of dull over here. Plated? Now why would you plate a 1909 VDB? Stop messing with my coins. Well, you know, electroplating was an experiment done in high school shop classes for a long time, because they had to show these kids how to fix them chrome bumpers. So you plate them. They were teaching skills back in the day. Yeah. I don't know how to plate a coin, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Yeah, that's not a bad looking piece. We got a couple of people saying plated. What is the reason for plating? Fool someone? No. Practice. Okay, you got a Canadian Ender. There it is. People go to the bank. They say, hey, man, can I get some pennies? I need some rolls of pennies. And they'll pick them apart and go through that whole roll. Now, the trick is when you're done with them and roll them back up, the ones you don't keep. Yeah, he's got a 1964 Canadian penny. It's beautiful. It sure is. I feel good about it. You don't take them back to the same bank. You go to a different bank. All right, so you want to have two banks. One where you pick them up, another one where you drop them off. Because otherwise, they're just going to give you the same pennies back that you just went through. Probably from damage. Go with that instinct, Will. Could this be from production? Let's get in there and look. What is the evidence we see on this coin? I've got massive wear on this piece. Or is it a weak strike? Now, the weak strike is oftentimes going to leave an hourglass looking design, right? It's going to have a weak hourglass because on a weak strike, well, the metal's going to be eaten up by the head and vest. And if you look at that kind of close, it kind of is shaped like an hourglass, right? Kind of narrow in the middle and big on the ends. This tells me this is not a weak strike. This is consistent with a coin that has been screwed up. Now, if you have a coin you think might be an error or variety, explain it. You have to explain how it came into being using the minting process. Now, we had a show last night. We watched them make pennies, right? And they're making these things so fast you can't even see the machines moving. It's just 10 times a second they're stamping these coins out. So if these coins are not all exactly identical, going into the machines the same way every time, over and over again, for thousands of iterations, just repeating for hours at a time, it's going to jam up the works. A lot of force going into those. It's going to screw them up real hard, right? So chances are they're real good. If you got an oddball coin, then it's going to be damaged. This is consistent with having sat in sand for a long time, right? Sand tends to wear from the edges coming out. or in the gutter or something. But that would oftentimes leave a discoloration on your coin. You could put a coin on something that vibrates. All right. Um, Put a coin on top of, let's say, a piece of sandpaper and leave it on top of your dryer, right? And then wash your jeans for like 6 months. Coin, you don't move it, you don't touch it, you don't do nothing to it. But in 6 months, you look at that coin, it's going to look like this thing on one side anyway. Uh, Vibration can do this to a coin. Put it on top of your refrigerator, and you live near the train tracks, and the 510 Express comes by every day and shakes the whole house. This is damage. I'm sorry. Okay, what do you got here? I don't know, man. It's sideways. What you got? Just to opinion. He wants to know. 1909 SVDB MS64 red brown. This is certified by PCGS, and they're a third generation holder. We can look this number up. 9433082. 9433082. Let's look that up. PCGS. Okay, PCGS number lookup. Is that what I want? I want verification. I can never find this button. Certification, verification, there. And it's gone. 9433082. 9433082. What do they say it is? They say it's a 1909 VDB-S in MS64 red brown. Is it? MS64 red brown. They don't have a photo of the coin. They would have it over here. There's 2007 of them. There's this many in that particular grade. There's 1,092 higher, and that'll encompass all the red browns. So the reds are still higher still, and they're saying it's good for 2,000 bucks. Looks legit to me. Wish I had the other side of the coin. Look for holograms. Okay, what's this? He's got a small date, FS 1401, been cleaned. Yeah, the FS 1401 is 14 is a design variety. Cleaned. What a darn shame. What's it worth cleaned? In MS60, probably 5 to 10 bucks. Once you clean a coin, even when it's in great shape, it's going to destroy value. Might be 10% of what the book says. 1970 S, small date, cleaned. Let's go to Numis Media. Okay, Numis Media, Lincoln Cents, Modern Lincoln Cents, 1970 S. Where's that? Wait for it. There's a lot of these. 1970 S, small date. Now I can't use the red figures because it's been cleaned. I can't use red brown. So I'm going to look at the brown figures. Small date brown. And at MS60, they say 20 bucks is what Numis offers. But I would suggest a half to a quarter of that. It looks red. No, that's not it. It looks red, but this coin has been cleaned. The details is a death knell for this slab. I doubt that they will recover the cost of certification. On Anax, you're looking at, what, 11 bucks? No. Gone, man. Okay, we saw a whole lot of... What? It's gone. There. I got to catch up with the chat. I see everybody over here talking. There. We'll look at those for a bit. I would not mind having it. Yeah. But if you're going to buy a coin with the expectation that you can resell it for a profit, cleaned, that's going to make it real hard, man. Oftentimes, people buy a clean coin, they're overpaying. There are some coins that will still hold much of their value, even if they have been cleaned. But you're looking at coins that have, surviving populations in the thousands, or are in great demand. Early S mint wheat pennies, yeah, they get cleaned all the time. Back in the 30s, 40s, it was the cool thing to clean your coins. Oh God, that's what they did, man. They cleaned them, made them look pretty. They sold stuff at the store so you can clean your coins with them. Just one dip and it will shine like a brand new penny. It doesn't add value. It will kill value. But some coins, yeah, those old bust halves, you get those that are cleaned and every now and then, and they still drop 40, 50, 60, 80 bucks, even if they have been cleaned, because you get into such old and rare, uh, people will, okay, I'll take what I can get because they're going to be few and far between. We have a huge trestle 100 yards from us. Bridge? I think Sergio likes to take photos at his LCS. Just saying. Who's Sergio? He the guy with the 1909? Okay, we'll get back over to the screen. I'm going to hit some coffee here. All right, who was that? That was somebody else. Okay, recommendations. Is there a complete error, defects, and stuff to look for? Mm-mm. No, not even close. Although we're working on it, baby. None of these lists. I've got one over my blog. Here we go. Where's my blog? 1 Million Pennies Project, right? There, I put up the tie-dye shirt too. And I've got a cheat sheet, what to look for. But it is nowhere near complete, right? What do you look for in 1910? I tell you, look for a 1910S RPM. Well, the fact is, there's 3 1910S RPMs, and they're all different. Then you got different things to look for in 1910S. 1947S, look for the RPM. The RPM, there's like 26 RPMs for 1947S. How do you list? Do you list everything to hunt for? Do you list just the best? Cherry Picker's Guide goes towards the short list of the most valuable, most extreme, most collectible, the cream of the crop, the best of the best. Right? For pennies, for example. Oh, wait a minute. We got them counted already for the half dollars. Okay, for the half dollars, Kennedy's. I'll give you a number exactly. It's here somewhere. Wait for it. Okay, what do we got? 21,000 data points on there? We got some totals here. Okay, where is it? Our list shows 742 coins, 514 different varieties. This is for Kennedy half dollars, plus the 228 normal designs. And let's see, I'm going to go across the top. And 5S Stanton, I've got 65 listings in that column, and one of them says 5S Stanton. So there are 64 Kennedy half dollars in the Cherry Picker's Guide. So the Cherry Picker's Guide is cherry picked. That's only the most extreme, the most valuable, the most desirable. It's by no means anywhere near comprehensive. That's what we're trying to do, is put together a more comprehensive list. Yeah. So there we go. Cherry Picker's Guide has 64 varieties. Our list has 514. So no, there is no such thing as a complete errors, defects, and varieties list to look for. Now, errorref.com, it's a link. Looks like Paula put that one up. Really, I'm going to give you that link in the chat here. Let's see if I can pull that up. Copy. Find this. Hit paste. There, that's errorref. That's the link for it. I'm going to find it back here again. Can you see what I can see? Yeah, we're looking at it. For the things that can possibly go wrong during the minting process, this is a great site. It gets into die errors, planchet errors, striking errors. That's pretty much where the things go wrong. It's either on the die, on the planchet, or in the process. And it's a fairly technical site. Read the whole darn thing. Really. Here's some dye errors. What can go wrong? There's tiny circles, rusted dyes. Did that open? Let's look at rusted dyes. There you go. You got these funny little blisters all over the coin, little pock marks. Yep, I got a coin with some rusty dye marks. Here's a Vickers test mark left in the die. It looks like a pyramid. Yep, I'm waiting for people to say, "Oh, I got a Vickers test mark on my coin too." No, baby, you don't. Because if you read these, you'd know that the Rockwell hardness test is used on US dies, and the Vickers test mark, which is this little pyramid, is used on coins made in India. So the chances of you finding a Vickers test mark on your bicentennial quarter are none. Okay, but you can go through this whole darn thing, and it's extensive. It really is. It's not comprehensive. There are more issues that are still being found here and there that are added to it. And Mike Diamond is one of the guys that operates this site. You'll find him in some of these groups. Let's see, where's the people list? Here's about the authors. There it is. There he is. That's Mike. You're gonna find him in some of the groups over on Facebook too. Then you got BJ Neff. If you're into varieties and errors, you know these names. Jason Cavalier. I don't know this name. Okay. Fred Weinberg. He's probably the one of the world's leading experts on errors. John Sullivan, Sullivan Numismatics. Peter Lucas. These guys, they're busy in Konica as well, a lot of these guys. So get over there and check that out. But read the whole darn site. You're going to learn more just reading through it. Not a whole lot of plot. It's kind of dull, kind of quiet. A lot of things going on. But you got some pictures. Ejection, impact, doubling. It'll explain some things. What am I looking for? And it'll tell you. Yeah, but there's some evidence. That's evidence-based numismatics. Get into there and check that out. Okay, this guy's got wheat pennies by the pound, $6 plus shipping. Okay, let's see, $6 divided by, what do you got, 163 wheat pennies per pound? That's 3.6 cents a piece. That's not a bad price. Well, here's what I got from that box. What'd you get from that box? That looks like I can't see what that is. I'm suspecting these are wheat pennies. That's a shiner. 1981, these are 77. Keep the best and to hell with the rest. You can put together a pretty good collection, pretty good set, just by going through boxes after box after box. Keep the best and continually upgrade what you have. And you can put together a set of memorials where almost every darn one of them is red. Some will be hard to come up with. What do you got here? Post-mint damage or mint error. Robert, I got to tell you, you got damage here, plain and simple. What am I looking for damage? I'm looking for on the back of this to see a point where this blow, this impact mark was perpetuated through the planchet. And there it is. This is where the blow was received. If this was done at the mint, in the minting chamber, the entire back would be nice and smooth and even. But here's got a bulge, which is exactly placed opposite this smash. Okay, if I look at the roundness of this thing is distended. It sticks out past its roundness. So for this to occur, it would have to be out of color. No. So now I'm looking at an out of color with a strike through where it also shows up on the back. No, this is impossible to make this in the normal minting process. It's also been cleaned, it looks like. That's a disaster. You can spend that one. What you got here? Die deterioration or doubling. This is classic case of die deterioration. Okay, draw a line from the center of the coin out to the rim, and that's where our extra meat is. This is die deterioration, worn out die. Looks like CJ has offered a reference over to error ref. Yeah. Remember, they're making, what, 200 and 300,000 strikes per die. These things wear out. Okay, missing a coating. Missing coating on a 1987. All right, but it's not completely missing. It's partially missing. What would take off the copper coating off of a coin? 2.4 grams. It's about right. Should be 2.5. Copper is highly reactive. Acids will eat away that copper. Right? Nitric acid, boom, it's gone in like 30 seconds. You can steal a car faster. No, you can get the plating off of this faster than stealing a car. Yeah, chemistry experiments, intemperate youth, dropping it in a sewer grate, and then some guy changes his oil. There's lots of ways that this happens. Okay, found us looking for a 44D over S. The hair on the obverse looked like it has stamped issues. Looks like damage to me, baby. Looks like some kid with a knife, nothing else to do. This is damage. All right. There we go. I gotta pull up the Play-Doh for this. Where's the good Play-Doh? Is that this one? Ooh, that's the good Play-Doh. Okay, you see how you got a groove cut into the coin? And you got some extra metal above the head. It's been lifted. And this is screwed up. Okay, that's a Smender Jim Arco. Okay, let's look at how this could be produced on the coin. What would have to happen for that to be produced? There's home. Okay. And we got some Play-Doh over here. Don't clean your coins. Don't do it. What got me mad, I had a Rockwell test mark coin. Q&A said it was a BB mark. I still say it's a Rockwell. Prove it. There's no way to prove a Rockwell test mark. If you could prove it, they don't really carry any value. What are you going to do? Waste your time to prove something for what reason? It's up to you, man. All of those pictures are out of focus. Yeah, we got all kinds of things going on. I need my flattener. It may be the speed of our internet connection. Sometimes it's sharp and clear on my end. You can see it clear. You know, some guy in the next state, but somebody in California on the West Coast can't see a darn thing. Okay, for a raised device on your coin, you have to have a depression on the die. Okay, let's say this is the die. I got a die here. For the die to produce a raised device on a coin, I'm going to squeeze that die into a planchet, and the planchet is going to fill that void. It's going to be higher up than the regular field. The surface of the die, that's going to be the field of your coin. Here we go. Here's a die. See how flat that is? Flat. Flat like a pancake. Dude, flat, flatter, flattest. But anything cut into the die will be raised on the coin. If we prove that, here's a die. These are holes, gaps, spaces, designs. I press that in, and look, I've got raised devices on my coin. Make sense? Now, and the field is even all the way across. If I have a coin, and I have a depression on that coin, say that, right, where it's lower than the field, it would have to be raised over here in the die. How can you get something raised on the die? How can you get a depression on a coin? One way to do it is, well, strike through. Strike something into the coin that, you know, in between the die. This is the die. In between the die and the coin. I've got a struck through. All right, evidence-based numismatics. To get some raised metal, I have to have something going on, something raised up over here. And how do you do that? It is very rare that you would have metal added to a die. What if the die breaks, right? And a little part of it subsides. You get that in a lot of Lincoln cents. Let's see. There goes my toothpick. That's where they go. I grab them and they fling themselves. There you go. 1955 is a big one for this. You'll have die subsidence, and you'll find them in Lincoln's head a lot of times, a little kind of an area where it's given out, it's sagged in. But if I were to stick my thumb into this hard and drive some of that die material down, a die subsidence issue, that would give me, what would that give me? That would give me a raised device on the coin. I'd have to raise it up on the die. Very tough to do. You'll have coins, people are convinced they found this mega $1 million coin because it's got all kinds of stuff going on, right? It's got bumps, it's got cracks, it's got swirl marks, it's got stuff sticking up, it's got all kinds of pock marks all over it. Looks like this. Looks like roadkill. Looks like it was dropped in a parking lot and driven over by a Mack truck, a fire truck, a cab, an Uber, a pizza delivery guy. But this is a mint error. They're convinced it is a product of the mint. Explain how that coin that you see was produced using the minting process, using a die, using a hub that makes the die. Because if you can't do it, well, okay, it might be inexperience, okay, maybe you don't know how. But to make a claim that it must be some sort of freaking mint error, dude, you're terribly wrong. You're not basing it on science. You're basing your proclamation on hope, and really no. Because now, if I've got pocks, bumps, chips, scrapes, this would all have to be on the die to be on the finished coin. Raised areas on the coin. Okay, I can have gouges on the die, but if I got divots and pits in several areas on the coin, how do I get raised metal in several areas over here on the die? That part is impossible. All right, you have to go to the evidence. Go to the errorref.com site and see how they say these coins are made. It can't be done. No, it can't be done. But they don't want to hear it. They're convinced that what they have is highly valued. Go to Etsy and sell it there. I saw this coin on Etsy. It looks just like mine, and it was selling for $3,000. Yeah? Is it really selling? Go back and look. It's still there for sale. It ain't selling because people aren't idiots. Because they're not suckers. Unless you're a sucker, in which case get over there and buy it right now. Jesus. Maybe list your big coin on Etsy. There's a lot of people out there using ignorance as an advantage tool to part a fool from his money. If you cannot identify a coin with what you see in the photos and identify it independently with your own experience and knowledge and understanding of how this thing is made and explain what that coin is, right? Don't buy it. Really. You're throwing your money away. Use your own experience. Let that be your guide. That's not the point. A BB would not fit the mark. Well, they got those little BBs, and they got the jumbo BBs, right? And they got the odd size BBs. Is every BB identical? Because they got like 0.1 BBs. Is every Rockwell mark identical? Google directs you to Etsy. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna need another jar of these. Yeah. Yeah, Rockwell hardness marks, they're almost impossible to verify. You can make the claim, but give me some evidence to support your claim, right? This Rockwell hardness test is deeper than the other Rockwell hardness test. They're all kind of shaped like a BB, kind of round. Yeah, it's unverifiable. I don't know. Would like to have one. Maybe it was. Okay. I'd walk away from those because they're unverifiable. And because they're unverifiable, well, is it a BB or is it a Rockwell? You'll never know. Usually on the reverse. But if it's a triangle and somebody's telling you, look, it's a Rockwell mark, or it's a Vickers test and it's on a US coin, no, we can cross that one out right now. Okay, look, guys, I've been going for a while here. It's time for me to get some lunch going. I thought I'd get on a cruise little group and see what people are doing. I think Bill J is probably still on. Anybody know? Yeah. Learn this stuff. It's going to be handy if you get deeper into the hobby. Having a good grip on things, knowing how the dies are made, right? Knowing how the hub is pressed into the die is going to help you in the long run to identify these coins that you see floating around. And some of them, yeah, they're worth good money. The foreign coins have a pyramid. No, the coins from India have a pyramid shape. If it's a Vickers hardness test, a lot of nations use a Rockwell, which is a ball. Huh? Yeah, it's a big ding on the dark. Skip it. Yeah. Hey, if you like if you like that sort of thing, uh, follow up on it. It's not the sort of thing I would follow up on. But hey, that's my collection. You can collect anything you want, baby, and I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm going to take off, guys. I want to thank you all for coming in, sharing the afternoon, listening to me rant. Get yourself a big bottle of pills, right? And if you can offer up some good advice to folks over on Facebook, add a link, especially to Araref. Add some evidence, add a source of information so they can see that you have some idea of what you're talking about, and they can follow up and do some more reading for themselves. Yep, it's the best way to put out that good information and defeat the lightning strikes by God. It's out there. We see it all the time. I'm going to take off, guys.